When we first walked into Joy's Soup Kitchen, we wanted to look at the layout of the kitchen so we could figure out what was the best placement for our stations. That way, we weren't bumping into each other or getting in the way of anyone else that was working. We also wanted to do this because it is so important to know the layout of your kitchen in order to prevent injury, and it also saves time by knowing where equipment and ingredients are located so that when you need them, you know exactly where they are. Here I will be talking about the ingredients we used in this first clip. You will see our hamburger stew ingredients. There's our ground beef, our canned goods, our soup base and beef base, along with mixed veggies, our bay leaves, our Worcestershire, all the things we use to season, and then here's the bread we use to dip it in. Here is our salad ingredients. We have our carrots, our cucumbers, bell peppers, iceberg lettuce, Italian dressing, red onions, and we chopped all this to put it together. And then here is everything we used for the cookies. We have our eggs and our salt, our sugar and our flour. Along with being absolutely delicious, the hamburger soup was easy to throw together. Because Lexi used an onion soup base, she did not have to chop any onions. The most time-consuming part of the prep for this soup was actually getting all of the cans opened. In all, the prep time for the soup took approximately 15 minutes. After the prep was done, Lexi browned the ground beef and made sure that it reached the proper temperature of 160 degrees Fahrenheit. She then drained it so that the soup would not be greasy. Off to the side, Lexi had combined the soup base and the beef broth with hot water and had it simmering so that it would be easy to add to the soup. The broth and soup base were added to the ground beef along with diced tomatoes, condensed tomatoes, black beans, pinto beans, Worcestershire, bay leaves, salt, and pepper. She let the soup simmer for a little over 2.5 hours. Lexi then added the mixed vegetables and the canned corn and let the soup simmer for another 20 minutes. The salad portion of our meal was easy to assemble. The prep was the most time-consuming part of the salad. It was important for me to make sure that all of the ingredients were cut into sizes and shapes that were relatively the same so that it was easy to eat and everyone got a little bit of everything. I diced 12 yellow, red, and orange bell peppers. I quartered 8 cucumbers. I cut 2 red onions, and I cut 4 bags of baby carrots into slices. I then mixed all of the toppings together. I then layered chopped iceberg lettuce, the topping mixture, and Italian dressing. I did about 3 different layers of this. On the last layer of the salad, I added croutons to keep them from getting soggy. The chocolate chip cookies turned out to be a challenge. When we got to the Joy Soup Kitchen, we were under the impression there was a mixer. It turns out the mixer was broke and we had to mix the cookies by hand. I first preheated the ovens to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and then I started to make the cookies by mixing together butter, sugar, and brown sugar. Once it was all well mixed together, I added in the eggs and the vanilla. In a separate bowl, I weighed out the flour, salt, and baking soda. I slowly incorporated the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients. Once the dough was fully combined, I folded in the chocolate chips. We rolled them out and put them on 4 baking sheets. The recipe said that they would bake for about 8 to 10 minutes, but because there were so many of them and they were a little bit bigger than what the recipe had called for, they took a little bit longer to bake. Due to COVID, we had to prepare everything as a takeout tray. So it was relatively simple setup. We had our stew in the bottom biggest compartment. We had our side salad in the top left compartment, and then we had our chocolate chip cookie. We then put a piece of parchment paper over the top and then sat our bread on top so that the bread did not get soggy. And then we closed up the trays and then put them in bags with utensils and napkins. Because of COVID, we were not able to do the traditional sit down meal, so we had to make takeout trays. And so in this clip, you will see our volunteer is putting together the care package, which has the tray, has some utensils and some napkins, along with a water bottle. On the door, there is some plexiglass in order to keep the distancing. And so she reaches the trays underneath the plexiglass, and that's how we were giving out our trays. Once we made sure that everyone received a takeout tray, we came back to the kitchen to begin our cleanup duties. I started with cleaning the dirty dishes. Lexi would dry off the clean dishes and put them away. Our other volunteer would sweep the floor and clean off the prep tables and the stove. We all worked together to put up any ingredients that were left out and to put the leftover soup and salad into the fridge after it was done cooling. We really appreciated Joy's Soup Kitchen allowing us to use their establishment, so it was very important that we left the kitchen clean and neat.